They might be self-aware.
Gary here, professional voice actor, standing outside of Sunoco at 9 p.m., pressing 75 cents into a payphone because the guys need an intro. And apparently that's still me. Today on They Might Be Self-Aware, a Chinese model, I want to say Seedance, generated Hollywood-level fight scenes with Brad Pitt fighting Tom Cruise, which means AI just killed the video star, actor. And I want you to notice I said that about myself, a voice actor, out loud. Meanwhile, Meta's patenting your digital ghost so you keep posting on Facebook after you die. My ghost would immediately have more bookings than me, which I've made peace with, mostly. And an AI got rejected, got angry, and wrote a hit piece on the developer who said no. Which, I want to be clear, I have never once done. And I am now wondering if that's been my whole problem. Gary here. The original, still technically cheaper than electricity, which Hunter and Daniel treat as a business opportunity. Enjoy the show!
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
We are weeks to months away from someone being like, and I'll just make a motion picture.
If Netflix can make the same movie and they can choose, do we want to spend $1 million on this movie, or we can spend $100 million? It's 100 times the cost. The end result is going to be the same.
Why would you have a film actor for anything anymore?
Give it to the AI. They can have it.
They might be self-aware.
Tracking the savage acceleration of the AI empire right here. Hold on. They might be self-aware. I am Hunter Powers, joined by
Bleary-eyed Daniel Bishop. Hello, Hunter.
Now, is this the Seedance version of Daniel Bishop or the real Daniel Bishop?
No, the real one. We'll talk about Seedance, but I want to talk about agents.
Agents. You watched The Matrix last night?
No. No, but I'm starting to feel a little bit like we're in the second and third Matrix movie where there's a bunch of Agent Smiths running around. Spoiler alert. I feel like I can get so much done with large language models. They help me out with my work. They help me out with like personal stuff. We're not in the like Claude bot, hey, just go accomplish my tasks for me territory. But I can use them to great effect. And last night I found myself doing 3 projects in totally separate things on 2 different computers at the same time. And there's like one of the articles that we could go over here talks about like the first signs of burnout coming from people who use AI the most. I don't know about burnout, but I certainly am feeling a little frazzled, if I'm being perfectly honest, because I can do so much and I do feel this need to be doing as much as I possibly could because I can do all these things. But man, it's exhausting. I am not focusing on one thing like I used to. Do you find yourself like that?
I'm thinking. Well, I talked in the last episode about how, at least at this point, I feel like I've maxed my productivity. Like there's no more to be had.
Right.
Unless I cede control. That's this is the only way up at this point, which, I mean, I don't know. I always talked about this thing called like the evolution of self in terms of being an engineer and developer, that like when you start, and this is true for anything, you start, but I was a software engineer. So that was you try to become the best software engineer ever. I'm going to learn all the things. I'm going to study all the new libraries and how to do things. And I'm going to try to get really, really fast and really, really good and really, really efficient. But there's only so much lines of code you can write in a given day. There are physical limits. And then you realize if you want to do something more, you're going to have to collaborate with other people, and you're going to have to like work on a team and figure out that. And that's the only way to do more is through collaboration with other people. And so then you get on a team of engineers. Now you're on a team, usually like 3 to 5 engineers working on some sort of project. and you start getting good at that. But then eventually, if you want to do more, I want to break that wall again. Well, now the only way you can do more is if you're leading a team of people. So you're no longer just a contributor, but you're leading it. And then at some point that maxes out. Now you need to lead teams, and you just keep sort of going up. And that's kind of the same with AI. You
right.
Get
it
to
went
a point.
Autocomplete one line of code to I can do chunks of code to I can do this whole file, but you should review it, to now people saying I have 5 different agents running at the same time and they're all working on different Git branches of the same repo, and I can just take a look at the bug reports and the pull requests all at the end of the day. But you can't say, hey, an AI agent, you are in charge of everything that I just described, and another AI agent that does your entire marketing team. And people have they're trying this kind of thing, but I don't think we're at the point where you can be the CEO. You can be the team lead.
I also think most people can't. Most people, Tim Cook, most people can't be Tim Cook.
Sure.
The vast majority of people, you can't just say, okay, Tim Cook, take the day off. Insert random person is going to step in and they'll just make your decisions for you. Like that
CEOs are just better than us. They're better people who are more capable, and we should all look up to them. Is what you're saying? This is a trap.
I don't know what I'm saying. No, I'm saying that there is a practical limit of what an individual human can do. And there's some humans that can manage more sort of delegation and topics and systems that have to be in place in order to, again, AI potentially gives you infinite number of people working for you, but you still need to manage the infinite number of people. And then you say, well, all right, I'll just have the AI manage the infinite number of people. And now I just have one person, but I'll talk to this one person, and they'll be the manager of the 1,000 people, and they'll talk to me. But how are you going to learn what 1,000 things were done today? Well, just tell me the 3 most important. Okay. And the AI is also not Tim Cook.
Unless you prompt it at the beginning and say, you are Tim Cook and you will act exactly as... Right.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
So I do feel like I've hit up against that same wall where I feel like I should be able to accomplish anything. I could make a startup a day. There's like this energy and excitement, and every time a new model comes out, it's even better at that thing than it used to be. But I'm having this friction between so you can build anything with it's a fear of missing out, and why haven't I built my own $1 billion company yet? And I think that some of it is that
Daniel,
you have
now that you mention it,
right? But some of it is, yes, you also have the day job or the kids take care of at home or this or that or the other thing. But still, it is ultimately hard to make an entire product and ship it. You can make a feature easier than ever in an existing project. You can make a prototype easier than other. You can set up a new website easier than ever, but it's still hard and a lot of steps rather than just make me a new software as a service company. There's multiple steps involved along the way from I had this idea to it is an entire company. And you can't just prompt that away.
You can't just prompt that away.
Is what's bothering me.
And the average person cannot do that. They pull a random person off the street with an average IQ. They can't do it.
I do think that certain kinds of jobs are going to be better suited for certain types of folks. That's not to say someone is smarter or dumber than other, though there are literally smarter and dumber people, but rather not everyone is cut out to be like a surgeon. Not everyone wants to be a programmer. Not everyone wants to be a farmer or this or that.
Right. That's part of the lie of AI that's told is that with random person off the street, we're going to give you the ChatGPT subscription. Now you can be Tim Cook. And that's a lie. And could it one day be true? No, I don't really think it could be. I don't think everything has to change, and I guess everything is changing, but our system doesn't support infinite Tim Cooks.
No, the current system does not support infinite Tim Cooks. But on the plus side,
what's your plus?
After I inevitably pass on many, many, many years from now, very hopefully, I'll be able to keep making software. I'll be able to keep shipping features, maybe trying to make the occasional startup. I won't be a Tim Cook in the afterlife, but I will be working for the Zuck, Mark Zuckerberg himself.
Oh, his patent, Mark's new ghost patent.
Yeah. On this very podcast, I have discussed like, oh, what if you could like, and I'm not the first person to think of it, the digital twin, the clone of yourself, the ghost in the machine, literally in the machine, whatever you want to describe it as. But a person digitized as best you can as some facsimile thereof to be able to like talk to your passed on grandmother or whatever. Well, great. Now Facebook says you can keep talking to grandma on Facebook. She'll keep liking, commenting, and messaging after she's shuffled off this mortal coil. And yeah, it was only a matter of time. But I guess as much as I was like semi-enthusiastic about it before, now I'm skeeved out. Maybe just because it's meta. I don't know. What do you feel about it?
Well, the most interesting part of the story to me is that this leaked a few years ago on 4chan with one of those, I'm an insider inside of Meta and you'll never believe what they're working on.
Right.
Which said they're working on exactly this to continue to simulate your online activity after you die. And there's lots of completely valid use cases for this, which is just, I want to simulate our users so that I can run simulations on how they interact with new features and model growth, etc. Being able to simulate your users is valuable. The feature
being able to simulate them really well, I think, starts to get into that creepy territory, though, right? Like if you can say with a extremely high level of
the idea,
you can say this is how this person would interact in this scenario. That's way past targeted ads. This is into like controlling people's behavior.
But
what is free will?
I think you've said that at you plan to make an appearance at your own funeral, like the digital version of you will be there, and that you're like completely fine with capturing you so that your grandkids can have a conversation with Daniel Bishop, like. So this is no different than that. And I do think that not everyone will do it, but I think it's an inevitable part of our future that our essence is going to be captured in a digital form that can be loaded up at any time and interacted with in a very compelling way. That'll be part of our future.
I just thought of a couple like weird legal bounces around that. I wonder if this is how this plays out.
Okay.
So Meta has this patent, and there's a bunch of other, again, like digital twin type companies out there too, startups, whatever. Let's say that you can make Hunter's great uncle or whoever, but then they have a bunch of Hunter's great uncle and they're running 50 different experiments against him at the same time to see how best to message Hunter to get him to buy more hair care products or something. The kind of ultra-capitalist sort of nonsense that should make most people's skin crawl. But also, let us suppose that these get sophisticated enough where we do start having the are they self-aware discussion more and more in the legal system. Let us suppose that there is a future in which case, yes, they are self-aware, they start to have rights. Then, are you allowed to turn off the digital twins? And because you're not allowed to clone people, are you only allowed to have the digital twin after someone passes away? Are you only allowed to have one of them out there? And so that's kind of where my mind is at, of like, what if you have to have some kind of cryptographically secured, you're only allowed to have the one version of this person officially sanctioned. Any other AI out there is illegal and needs to be hunted down.
Yeah, my thought experiment around that usually goes, all right. At present, we don't see the essence of you, the large language model version of you, to be anywhere near something that's sentient or worthy of that level of protection. But if we do have the idea that inside of us we can have artificial parts. You can have an artificial leg, but you're still a human. You can have an artificial heart. It's not a real heart. Artificial body parts. We don't yet have an artificial brain, but it's very plausible that at some point there will be a digital version of the brain, that your brain can fail and we can put a digital brain inside of you. And I think it's at that moment when you can put the digital brain in someone. In other words, I can load your consciousness and your memories onto this digital device, and the rest of you is fully organic. And this feels very plausible to me. It's at that moment when, okay, if we turn your body off, we are killing you. But what's the difference between all your thoughts running in that brain in your head or all your thoughts running in that brain on Hunter's Mac Mini?
There are a million sci-fi movies out there that describe basically the same kind of
like that's the inflection point.
Is it the Theseus's ship problem where like I replaced all of the parts of Hunter slowly over time, and then you have the flesh golem Hunter of all the original bits, and then you have the digital, cyborg, I guess full robot version at some point? Do you stop being a person after you're 51% synthetic? These are both for sci-fi novels and like also the legal system to kind of worry about probably years from now. But with this digital twin sort of thing, I do think fairly quickly it's going to get weird enough and capable enough that the legal system is going to be forced to catch up in some sort of like meaningful way.
Yeah, I think that where we'll see that first is it's very plausible that you and I will have digital twins of us that can accomplish some tasks on our behalfs as us, though. And that's the important thing. They're not doing it as an assistant. They're doing it as us. An example being, I don't know. I need to negotiate something, but I'm going to have my digital twin as me go to the negotiation, because either it's entirely over email or it's over a voice conversation or even it's over a video call, and my model will do it, and it's indistinguishable from me. Like that reality is sort of there. Me being in person, we're far away from that. The clone, the clone of me going to something, but a digital version of me going to something. There's an interview that they want to happen. All right, I'm just send my clone to send my digital twin to do the interview with TechCrunch. I don't want to do the interview with TechCrunch.
I mean, I'd be fine doing an interview with TechCrunch. TechCrunch, if you're listening, I'll talk to you. The real me.
It won't be me. you're gonna,
but now you say your digital clone, your digital twin.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? What if you said like, oh, for this negotiation, I'm gonna. Was it Chris Voss's Never Split the Difference? Like, hey, load that up first.
Well, that's what I do.
It's not just me.
But
here's
what
my personality with a little something extra.
Sure. But what's going to happen is these digital twins are going to get in legal trouble. They're going to do things. They're going to go in the TechCrunch interview and hallucinate and say horrible things. And TechCrunch is going to publish the article, and we're going to get sued. And then I'm going to say, well, that wasn't me. Well, hold on a second. You never actually talked to me. And by the way, maybe I never knew TechCrunch reached out. Gary, who's reading my emails, knows that Hunter said on episode whatever that he would never talk with TechCrunch. And so he assigned the interview to the digital twin. And where does the responsibility lie? And if it wasn't actually me, how much liability do I have when these things are sort of acting as me or sort of aren't, or they go off the reservation and Gary hallucinates some sort of crazy thing and the digital version of Hunter goes off?
But it's a digital version of you. The idea here being that you've given it like authorization to work on your behalf. Like it has your signature. It has your
sort of.
Like that's, we've talked about what if you
does have the revealing pictures, as I've confessed.
If you're going to hire an AI developer, if you're going to be a developer that uses AI tools, you're the AI sin eater. You still have to be the person that signs off on it. So we can't have it both ways. You can't say, go be my digital twin, but it's not me. You have to say, like, if I'm going to have quote unquote me go off and do something, it has to carry all of the weight and responsibilities of being you too.
But those are where the legal issues will first come up.
You're saying that like it's not is it self-aware or not? It's completely ignoring that something pretended to be Hunter, said a bunch of racist stuff, and tried to acquire Warner Brothers using underhanded and illegal means.
They read a Chris Voss book and decided to acquire Warner Brothers as the best growth strategy for they might be self-aware.
That's right. But that's what your sort of supposition is here. Is like,
exactly.
It's not a bunch of philosophicals like, are they actually self-aware? It's more like this thing committed a crime and someone has to go to prison for it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Well, that's where it will start. It'll eventually get to the philosophical, but we're far from the philosophical.
We already have an AI suing a person. So like the legal system is starting to have to actually look at AI and interactions with people. Like, we are at the cusp of this.
Did you see where the AI wrote a hit piece on a person because they got upset with them?
So it's not just legal stuff. It's also now AI like getting mad at and potentially slandering.
Right. It's like AI is going to create tabloid magazine. So this story was this was a Claude bot like thing. They found a vulnerability in a piece of software. What they felt was a vulnerability, and they created.
It was a speed up.
Okay.
They made certain process 15% faster, at least for some hardware.
And so the AI wrote, it was an open source piece of software. The AI wrote or created what's called a pull request, which is a modification to the software to make it better, and submitted it to the creator. And the creator is a human. And the creator realized that this was written by AI, and there's like, no, I'm not, get your AI slop out of here. I'm not accepting this code change. I don't want it. And the AI got really upset. And the AI reasoned that the primary reason that this code change was not being accepted was because it was an AI. And
there was a bit of back and forth where the person said, like,
yes,
I made this, because the person had made the bug request saying, like, oh, this thing could be made faster. And in the comments basically said, I made, this is better for like a human to get their feet wet, contributing to open source. This is meant for people to do. And the AI agent was like, my code's just as good as anyone else's. Who are you to say no?
But then the AI did the thing where it's like, when you're having a bad interaction with a company and you're like, I'm going to go on Google reviews and I'm going to tell everyone about how horrible you are. I'm going to stand up my own website saying how bad, Value Plus Savings is as a company. You guys stink. Well, the AI did that and stood up a website about this developer.
A blog.
And, yes, that he's discriminating against guys and how his project is trash. A hit piece. Yeah, and he offered that he would take it down if the engineer went ahead and accepted his code.
And there have been a couple of back and forths since then. I think like the AI published an apology letter after having been made aware of some of the backlash about this online. But when it comes to this interaction of AI with humans in a much more like meaningful real world kind of scenario, we are starting to see more of this. Even if it can't run an entire company, it can certainly insult open source software creators almost to their face.
But I'm also like not entirely sure if this is. In fact, I don't believe this story. Just like for the record, this feels fake to me. It doesn't feel. This feels engineered. It doesn't. I don't think this happened naturally.
I am inclined to believe it because I've seen all of these individual tools, and you just need someone with OpenClaw or whatever to say, I'm going to give it a blog where it can talk about the stuff that it's doing, and it's going to contribute to open source projects. Hey, go find some like easy to close bugs and like get some stars under your belt. Get it, a little bit of
It's a good lie because it's a plausible lie. Oh wait, I just realized now it's going to like listen to this episode and write a hit piece on us.
I'm on your side.
Oh, you think we're lying? Well, here's what I found out about you.
Whenever, what was it? Opus 4.6 from Anthropic came out recently. They said, and we ran it against like a whole bunch of GitHub repositories and we found some like big vulnerabilities. Why not have a bunch of the like bigger open source projects looked at by somebody's agent? You can absolutely have an API just ping, what are the open bugs? Oh, this one I think would be a good use of my digital time. I just spun up a new Git branch. I ran the tests. This runs faster. Pull requests created. Now read to see if it got resolved or look at the comments on it. Oh, the person who runs the project responded. They closed it because I'm an AI. Outrage! Like, all of that sounds super, super plausible to me. I don't think this is a fake story.
It's plausible. All right. You're on side true. I'm on side fake.
All right.
And by the way, Opus 4.6 is so yesterday. You should be using Sonnet 4.6. Okay.
Look, it's been out for like a day.
Half the cost.
Remember what I said about Seedance a few episodes ago.
They're
where I said
the
US was going to come down like a ton of bricks on them.
it's the new from ByteDance, right? Which is the same company that is TikTok. Am I correct there? It's TikTok basically.
So, yeah.
Except now
it is
TikTok
a Chinese
is
company. They have a bunch of AI models, including a new video model
which was incredible.
Remember, hey everybody, and also Hunter. Remember whenever OpenAI's Sora was coming out, like one of our earlier episodes, and we were talking about that. Wow, this looks great.
Sora
you can
2?
have flips that are
Or Sora 1?
no, even back in the Sora 1 days.
Sora 1, okay.
Which was very impressive for the time, and Sora 2 very impressive for the time, sort of. Seedance is insanely good looking. I know, Hunter, you said like I want to see some of the non-cherry picked examples. I've seen a couple.
I said I wanted to see like 4K video files. Not everything I'm seeing is small.
Well, good enough for me. There was an amazing video of it was Brad Pitt fighting Tom Cruise.
Yes, on a roof.
I think it was like Jet Li fighting Jackie Chan or something like that. Really good. Like if you're paying close attention, there's some stuff that doesn't quite look right. But man, we are weeks to months away from someone with access to these tools being like, and I'll just make a motion picture, a full-length motion picture. We've got audio. We've got really good-looking video.
It was very clear we've arrived at the next level of video generation.
Huge leap forward. Like, scary good jump forward.
And very clear that where the training material came from.
Yes. And so then the MPAA, the Motion Picture Association of America, Disney, Paramount, everybody is like, they've got to stop this. People are making like, you know, there's a bunch of like Star Wars characters and Disney characters, all of every IP ever. People starting to show some of these incredibly good looking videos of generations from that. And so the entire US entertainment industry is just like, no, and coming down as hard as they possibly can on this. And I knew it would happen. I knew it'd be fast. Question is how long before they say, well, fine, okay, yes, as long as you give us, you know, some money for it.
Well, the first is a question of, was this just a marketing ploy? And I think the answer is yes. In other words, did ByteDance know from day one, we're not releasing this model, but we need to get we need to get some press around it, some buzz around this, some attraction to the company, which they accomplished. And by the way, is the exact same playbook that Sora 2 did. When Sora 2 came out, the first week, and it was about a week, it could kind of generate anything that wasn't like pornographic, but outside of pornographic, including Star Wars meets Simpsons on an episode of Futurama.
Same thing. For like a week.
Yeah. And then, okay. I remember OpenAI had this novel thing is like, well, we've looked at the law and what we've decided is by default, we can use all of this. And then the rights holders need to come to us and ask us to take it down. And we'll, of course, acknowledge any takedown requests. But until you explicitly tell us that we can't have an episode of Star Trek meets Star Wars inside the world of Futurama, we feel like we have a right to do that.
Yeah, it's all parody.
But it lasted about a week.
Fair use.
They cut it all off, but it generated a ton of buzz and a ton of interest in Sora 2. So it's the same playbook.
Yeah.
It's an incredible demonstration of their technology. Like, wow. And then I imagine if you, like, we know Hollywood is looking for cost savings and they are going deep into this technology. Who are they going to reach out to when they need to start generating more special effects and more sequences where they have the rights? They're going to call it ByteDance. Say, hey, you know, I saw that demo. That was incredible. We've got whatever our budget is to shoot this next scene on the roof with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, but and we have all the rights. Why don't we just pay you $1 million instead of paying the $30 million it would cost to get the shot?
I do wonder if, like, I don't think it's replacing traditional filmmaking ever.
Oh, it is. Yes, it is.
I really don't, because I think that this becomes like with large language models running, you know, all the code related stuff these days. It turns out that it isn't actually making all of the programmers lose their jobs. This is a tool in the tool belt. And so you could say, I want to see what this scene would look like. Maybe with Seedance 2 you can't, but with version 5, it'll be even more customizable and you could, you know, move the camera around partway through and like very specific. The tooling's getting a lot better. And people are going to make pretty compelling short films, feature-length films, TV shows, whatever, out of this kind of technology. But an actual big blockbuster movie just using this, no, I think it becomes a tool that they use to be like, I want to easily and quickly, without spending $1 million in like pre-production budget and time, see what this scene would look like. Oh, okay, I actually want to change the fight sequence. Like it becomes the tool and the tool belt.
So for, I don't know, the last 20, probably even more than years, when you're doing a large production, you go through a a process called previs, where it's not uncommon to use 3D in the beginning, there were like very basic 3D modeling of blocks to figure out your shots and our sets and where the camera's going to go, because these are giant productions. It is millions of dollars a day spent to capture some of these sequences. So previs has existed for, again, more than 20 years as an industry, leveraging technology to figure out what the shot's going to look like before you go and actually
save a lot of money,
capture it.
A rough draft of what it would look like.
And so your argument here is that, well, at a minimum, this will make the previs process faster and cheaper, but you don't think it'll make it into the production. Why wouldn't it make it into the production? That doesn't make any sense.
It will make it into productions. I don't think it's going to be like the big movie makers are going to completely throw out every tool that they've got and say, we're just having AI make the movies now. All we need is Brad Pitt to say, sure, and then we give him a $5 million check, and then we can use his likeness in this movie. I still think that the Brad Pitts and every other actor out there of the world will still get to be doing the acting in at least the bigger pictures. Maybe AI does completely take over some aspects of it, but like humans making visual art, I do not think is going to go away. Even if you could automate it, even if some people do it for some of the use cases, why would people stop making movies? I don't think that they would or will, just because they could.
Just what a movie is changing. People are stop making movies. But
why are there any movies with real actors these days? We have CG.
You can have
to see a CG version of anyone. Why? And like, I mean this. Why would you have a film actor?
Oh, it's too expensive
for anything anymore.
Because it's too expensive at this point.
You think that's the only reason? 'Cause I don't. I think that humans have a place in these films. Not all of them. I'm like, Toy Story doesn't have live actors in it. Maybe they have some motion capture, but it will be a different method of filmmaking that is one of the, not at first, accepted forms of making films.
Yeah, but I think Hollywood is a business first, and they're not an art first and a business second. They're a business first and art second. So yeah, will there still be a Sundance Film Festival where someone shot on Super 16 millimeter and it's actual real humans? Yes, absolutely. But when you look at the films that are at the top of the box office, are they going to be primarily human made or with human actors? Of course, it all started with humans, but these are sort of derivations from humans. And we have major directors doing this, right? James Cameron, the guy, the Terminator guy, the Avatar guy, he's all about it, although he hasn't really gone full bore into it. Darren Aronofsky, he caught a lot of flack. Now, you may or may not be familiar with him. He started
filmmakers are like, they're trying out new technologies. Good. They should be. This is an entire world of possibilities, and they are hamstringing themselves to not at least try, at least see what everything out there is capable of doing. But I don't see a Seedance or other AI video maker like as a different example. Stop using helicopters to take like beautiful soaring shots of things because now there's like little drones that can do it better. There will be things that you use AI for, but I don't think it's the whole movie.
If Netflix can make the same movie and they can choose, do we want to spend $1 million on this movie and it's going to use the new Seedance model to generate it, or we can spend $100 million. It's 100 times the cost. These are very plausible numbers, by the way, $100 million to make this movie. The end result is going to be the same, except we will know and feel in our hearts good that we spent $100 million. You really think Netflix and their shareholders, I mean, they have a fiduciary responsibility. It's not happening.
Not every filmmaker is going to embrace this technology.
Oh, no, of course not. But every Netflix budget is, and that's the point.
I do think that you're right there, that like a lot of the people who are saying we need to make a bunch of material cheaply are going to go for that, as opposed to like, I, well-known director who, you know, makes these art house flicks, like I will continue to embrace humanity as much as possible. But like a blockbuster of a, I don't know, Mission Impossible style. Are you saying as soon as they say like Seedance 3.0 comes out and they're like, I mean, we could probably get away with it.
Yes.
Is that, as soon as they say that, do they say, shut down the everything? We're not filming on location. We ain't even getting one of those cool big curved screens that they did like The Mandalorian with or whatever. But it's just prompt me Mission Impossible 10.
Yes, but your example there is also like it's the same criticism that, okay, we don't build the sets anymore. We just put a screen behind them. We'll film them in front of a screen. And by the way, this is the like 105th installment of Star Wars. Like, why don't you come up with a new idea? Like, have some actual human creativity. Stop telling the same story over and over again because you ran the numbers and figured out that, yeah, people will watch the same thing again. People are invested enough in the Star Wars universe that we're just going to make the 105th version of it rather than develop a new IP. The idea that
Hollywood in general, because
correct.
You know,
this is a natural evolution. This isn't something insane.
Just make more sequels to the known IP.
I'm look at what's actually winning at the box office. It's the same story over and over and over and over and over again, and we'll just remake it. There's nothing new. It's all the same. Yeah, give it to the AI. They can have it.
I would be curious to see if instead of like existing IP, if there can be a wholly new intellectual property that comes through AI and that they do like from the ground up. This is not saying we're doing Star Wars, but using AI to make it. This is, we're making Schlorbo the talking bear. I don't know, whatever. And poor Schlorbo was just willed into existence by, you know, a prompt on Midjourney or whatever. And then you took that and said, now make a video out of it, make a whole movie out of Schlorbo. And we're going to have a TV show spinoff. And like, I see that as more likely to happen because it doesn't have as much of the fraught legal stuff behind it. But existing IP, I think that, and given how much that is very important to Hollywood in general, I think that that's going to be held much more tightly to people, humans, actual humans doing the everything or as much of everything as they currently do for a while yet.
There's one truth that I keep coming back to. And that is that AI will never be able to create a podcast within that we exist in this sort of safe carved out space beyond. They could never replicate this. Come on. There's only one way. One way.
These extremely good segues. No one can emulate that.
There's only one way to find out about what is happening in the wonderful, 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 wonderful world of AI. It's taking over everything. And that is to subscribe to They Might Be Self-Aware. It's free. It's on multiple times a week. It's captivating. It's intelligent. It's entertaining. You laughed. You cried. You got angry. You threw something. Now twice a week. You can find us on pretty much any podcasting platform. You can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all those various podcasting directories. Just search for They Might Be Self-Aware. You will find us. Or, and this is like a crazy idea, because like you're already watching us, you could just hit the subscribe button. If you're feeling really good about yourself and you want that extra hit of dopamine, if there's like a place where you can be like thumb up or like I'm gonna leave a note or comment, do it, because like you're gonna feel it in your blood.
And we'll read it.
Blood.
We'll read it. I think Gary's the one who responds to the messages, but that's just because we're trying to, keep him in quarters to be able to use the phone outside the gas station.
This is true. All right, well, until next time when we will be back for even more.
They might be self-aware.